left 3 tires and a stack of bills. See, we can't live on dreams and dust. So I pulled him out of school to work with me. He said, youngin', we're packing up. We loaded up soon as my son turned 21. Skipped town the day after daddy's funeral. Put his remains in the dirty clothes bag in the back of a rusty old cube van, headed to Mexico. Cause he's now a body on a make-the adventure. Heard from eternity. I said, son, the way we go is random, but we end up where we need to be. I let go the wheel cause I trusted him. Rolled into Texas at the same speed and met Jim. And he told me, call me Whiskey Woods, just passing through. Grew up a country star and I got this talking shoe. It shoot a hole in my soul, but I got new kicks. In truth, though, consequences. I left my belt back in and haven't showered since. My wife's long gone and my son gets high just smoking marijuana. I'm making do a lot without a job or polio or an Uncle Thomas. Bob, a saboteur, my buddy with the vegetable garden, shares his pedal power ride as my body ain't as free as my heart is. With the crate from Mary Jane on the back, I got daddy in the back where he belongs. And I'm doing everything I'm legally allowed to in the state of Alabama. The ex took the daughter, thank God, because she took care of my imagines. And meanwhile the cacti are calling me Muhammad. And believe you with the foot ballista in yellow peacock moors, renewed by Towers. I never even made it here anywhere in Texas.
Yeah. Took a small break right there. You know what I mean? Now we're back on. You know what I mean? We have all these to go through limited time because, you know what I mean? The duration of the the film, not even film, the show reel. You know what I mean? I only have like, you know what I mean? Probably narrow it down to an hour and a half. So I want to get through a couple stuff. This is, you know what I mean? Just go through it like really quickly. Uh, Probably speed up a couple things. You know what I mean? While me I show you, as we can't really show you all the strip right out, but like show you some of the early phase penciling and everything. You know what I mean? So y'all know that um I'm highlighting. You know what I mean? Corpse Makers a comic, and I want people to, you know what I mean, understand that, you know what I mean, this was something that I did like when I was still in high school, you know what I mean, back then when, you know what I mean, artwork really mattered. You know what I mean, this was colored in Photoshop. You know what I mean, show you the original, you're gonna see the original, and you're gonna see the digital stuff. You know what I mean? Back then till now. And you know what I mean? As you see, it was supposed to be, you know what I mean, come out in a issue format, but you know what I mean, we have it here unlisted, probably be the epilogue. And you know what I mean, over the years from 2003 to 2000, you know what I mean, 14, I did like a handful of work. I mean, one more, you know what I mean, early drawings back in the day. I was heavily influenced by McFarlane. You know what I mean? The art that came off that McFarlane side. You know what I mean? And his books and stuff. So Greg Capullo, I linked with that dude on Instagram. Very nice man. Extremely. Uh can see like I just going through the stuff real quickly. You know what I mean? Influenced by, you can see some Frank Miller influence as well. You know what I mean? uh, and just want to bring the reminder that all of this that you're seeing right now, you know what I mean, it's all it was all scanned. You know what I mean, these are the originals. Some of them are originals, some of them are copies, some of them are prints, like. So, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna go through, you know, the type of catalog that, you know what I mean, really impressed people back in the day. You know what I mean? For all those breaking into the industry now, you know what I mean? Because I see a lot of young people, you know what I mean, come to me, ask me a lot of questions, you know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? And eh, some of them had, you know what I mean, unrealistic expectations, you know what I mean, being artists. They expected that, like, you know what I mean, you're gonna go just go there, whether it be, you know what I mean, artwork or music, you know, sometimes, you know what I mean, certain people been in like the entertainment industry forever. When you say entertainment, you have to be under one spectrum in terms of like, but then magazines and print, manga, you know what I mean, comics were very popular. Music was very popular, you know what I mean? Certain sites back then, you know what I mean, if you wanted to be like the best musician in the world, you had to have, you know what I mean, knowledge of music. Likewise, trying to be the best illustrator, you have to have likewise knowledge of illustration, the history, you know what I mean, the style, sequential art form, you know what I mean, a term, you know what I mean, created by Will Eisner. you know what I mean, a legend, you know what I mean, in the comic book industry. You know what I mean? Back back then when I used to read everything, you know what I mean, I always dreamt of, you know what I mean, some people dream of Oscars, you know what I mean, and some people dream of having Grammys. You know what I mean? Back then, you know, coming up, yeah, one of my biggest goals, you know what I mean, was to get like a Eisner Award. You know what I mean? So I push myself to the limit, grinding, trying to, cause this was really early phase before I kind of came into my own between, you know what I mean, between Frank Miller and, you know what I mean, the inking style that you're seeing is between influentially is strongly influenced by Frank Miller, you know what I mean, and the dude that um Scott what's his name? I can't remember the dude that inks Jim Lee's work. Um you know what I mean? And Todd McFarlane type inks. You know what I mean? I actually used to download the talent searches online, but it never got through. But you know what I mean? When you can find other avenues to sell your work. This is a character in the Corpse Maker universe. This is like the earliest thing back in like '03. Still, you know what I mean? As you can see, work that I'm doing, you know what I mean, it's still about the early work, the penciling, it's still the proportions, you know what I mean, are extremely off. But when you're working from imagination, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, you always tend to get that result more than when you're doing real life drawings, like from real life sketches. Some of the panels them that I didn't put in, or the pencil, you know what I mean, some pencil go through this as quick as possible. You know what I mean? Draw the traditional samurai gear. always always fascinated with the samurai. One of my favorite movies that I watched where, you know what I mean, I actually took some reference from was like Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. You know what I mean, back in the day when I did this. You know what I mean, to kind of get, you know what I mean, it was inspired by Frank Miller's Ronin, and you know what I mean, back in the day I had like Samurai Jack was a really popular cartoon. But anyway, we're gonna get through that. All of this is being, you know what I mean, being you know what I mean, reinterpreted for the newer set of people them what we see now. And you know what I mean, I believe in that, you know what I mean, if you're a creative person and you know what I mean, you have a talent and you understand that you can earn from it, you know what I mean, you should push it to the very level. And going out there, you go always come across, you know what I mean, a lot of rejection. You know what I mean? Everybody, you know, them, even the best of us go through rejection. Sometimes people come to you for a certain idea as an artist, because as artists we carry out the ideas of people who can't really, you know what I mean, visualize and carry them out, you know what I mean, themselves. It takes years of practice, but between like, you know what I mean, 12 to 15. I think I was about 15, 16 when I started all of this. If you to view my 12-year-old stuff, it's not this. Yeah, you know what I mean, the panels and the stuff is not this disciplined. You know what I mean? The type of imagine it. My earlier stuff is more, you know what I mean, based in imagination. But, you know what I mean? What was supposed to bring this off, though, you know what I mean? I think I wrote a lot of dialogue. It was very wordy, and you know what I mean. A lot of people didn't really understand it unless they read the synopsis, the short synopsis, the story detail, or whatever. Try to put as much, you know what I mean. I had a lot of time back then, because I would like back then I used to do like, you know what I mean, like every week, because the job that I was on, you know what I mean, basically working at like, I was working at a deli, and you know what I mean, between the deli, the internet cafe, and me doing my freelance stuff, you know what I mean, I always had time to do this. So you know what I mean, uh, it's amazing the amount of time that I had back then, you know what I mean, that I don't have now. I have to be doing things much more faster. Back then I was working a lot, really fast. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, I think this is about where, you know what I mean, I kind of speed up things. Anyway, just keep going. Whoa. Early pencils, you know what I mean? Heavily influenced by Greg Capullo. You know what I mean? When he was working on Spawn, did like the inking, you know what I mean? This is watercolor. You know what I mean? I made copies, yeah, Xerox back in the day. Made copies, you know what I mean? This is a digital one that I did in Photoshop. You know what I mean? Very heavily influenced by Greg Capullo. You know what I mean? In terms of, you know what I mean, lighting and the early work that he did on Spawn, technically. This one, you know what I mean, I was trying to do my own special technique that I was developing with the inks. You know what I mean? One more, couple more copies. This one I kind of mute the colors. And one more. You know what I mean? This is the next one. As you can see, the character was heavily influenced by, you know what I mean, oh, you know what I mean, oh, Todd McFarlane colored stuff. You know what I mean, this was in 2003. And you know what I mean, my art style ranges back then, you know what I mean, ranges from a lot of things. And here these are pencilings basically. They were never inked or anything. Just a darker, you know what I mean, a 6B. I think I used a 6B. I just did it like, you know what I mean, yeah. As I see, it's still early phase coming into my own technique, and you know what I mean. Back then, you know what I mean, a lot of things were a lot different than the stuff that's being put out now. You know what I mean? Stuff that's being put out now I can say, you know what I mean, isn't as, you know what I mean, as impactfully, you know what I mean, very, you know what I mean, back in the early, in the late 90s, you know what I mean, when the Blade movie came out, because that's one of the models that people been really fascinated with, like the 3D model that I built Blade. And back then I was experimenting with Blender, but Blender was early phase back then, you know what I mean. The revamp of the interface in 2017 is what caused me to have like keen interest in it, because I had the earlier, you know what I mean, stuff at Blender, Cinema 4D, but back then the 3D pipeline for me was more tedious than doing this. You know what I mean? This is, and you can like, I can like take like what? Now, when I tell myself, I can take like basically 2 hours to get a rendering like this, and then a next hour, you know what I mean, to do it in the computer with like AI technology. You can do it in seconds, but you know what I mean, in terms of like certain things that they use like flux, you know what I mean, to make most of my new renders look how this fight scene looks basically, you know what I mean. This is a definite, you know what I mean, this is how back then you would see peak Simon Bisley, you know what I mean, splash action scene. So you know, I always try to, you know what I mean, see what, you know what I mean, certain artists' strengths and weaknesses, and try to, you know what I mean, try and get like a best result. But you know what I mean, it's still, you know what I mean, this still haven't come onto my technique as yet. You know what I mean, I'm still finding myself as an artist. Very, very bloody violent comic. You know what I mean? I didn't even ink these. You know what I mean? Cause when I went out like job seeking, you know what I mean? This is the stuff when you show people. Back then they weren't like back then, you know what I mean, Invincible and certain stuff from Image, like the Boys, Invincible. I don't know if the Boys is a Image when I would have to, but I know that Invincible is. Um, I, you know what I mean. I used to read Invincible, The Darkness, Witchblade, Spawn, and back then the thing that drew me to those, that it was more morally ambiguous and more violent than, you know what I mean, the other superhero genres. So, you know what I mean, it all gets kind of cartoony, you know what I mean, for a while. You know what I mean? All of these, you know what I mean, I might incorporate them in the new story now. People asking, so just go through. Yeah,